Hey, St. James here with my newest brutally honest review, Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 is an open-world first-person shooter developed by Ubisoft that was released on December 4th, 2012. Now, before I jump into the review, I want to point out my history with the franchise, or series, and I have to be honest, I had no idea what Far Cry was. I was never interested in the previous games, and overall, just had a disinterest in the series. So it should be noted that this was my first Far Cry experience, which could possibly alter my view on the game compared to those other reviewers. Now on to the review. There are many things you can point out about Far Cry 3. It's fun, beautiful, addicting, challenging, immersive, among countless other adjectives in the English language, but the one that best describes this game is fun. Far Cry 3 is easily one of the best games released this year, and rightfully so. The story intriguing, the characters memorable, the environment beautiful. Almost everything about this game does nothing less than elevate it to the best it can be. In the story, you play as Jason Brody, who's on a vacation with family and friends on a tropical island in the Pacific before getting taken hostage by a drug lord named Voss. A couple deaths here, a couple bullets there, and wham, you have this story. Now, I'm not going to go into the story too much because of spoilers, but the story is a great part of the game. But you can't forget the other part of the experience, the side quests and activities you can do in the game. From hunting animals to killing for hire to just sitting down and playing a game of poker, Far Cry 3 has many side jobs to keep you occupied. Add in disabling signal towers, which is kind of similar to finding waypoints in Assassin's Creed, and assaulting strong points, and you have hours of playtime invested into Far Cry 3 without even touching the story. What any good open world game should have. The game also has skill sets for different players. 3 in fact. Skill trees for 3 different styles of playing as in the game. The long range player are the skill sets and abilities that help the sniper rifle / RPG building player who like to take the fight from a distance. The assault player whose skills help the SMG / assault rifle wielding running gunner who like to take the fight to the enemy. And of course the stealth player who will preferably wield the bow and arrow and make great use of takedowns. Each skill tree is vastly different from the other two, but each have its own relevance to the player. Playing one signature style lets the player play the game his own way, but the true fun and genius in the skill trees are the fact that you can easily play as all 3, and each and every skill is relevant to the other skill trees. The main question you run into when leveling up your guy is not which skill I'll actually use, but rather which skill is relevant to my present situation, as almost every skill set will be used by the player come the game's end, and they will noticeably be used almost completely in sync. What I mean by this is specific skills you may unlock when playing with the Assault class will actually benefit a Stealth player, or specific upgrades to the Stealth class can help the Assault running gunner in a massive firefight. Far Cry 3 does a great job making every style of play relevant. The player can almost seamlessly switch between without hurting the effectiveness of either the weapons or the player himself. The downside of this title, I have to say, however, is the multiplayer. A game like this would have shined to gaming nirvana had it also had the multiplayer free roam seen in GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption. Alas, the multiplayer is the same old team deathmatch domination style like any other game, and to be honest, I didn't really like it. The way the game was made and executed for the single player almost begged for the multiplayer to have some kind of free roam mode in it to help capture the massive world and experience, but they didn't, it doesn't, and you won't. At the end of the day, Far Cry 3 is still a great game and easily playable. The single player experience is immersive and extremely massive, and you'll be occupied for hours. But the lack of a multiplayer molded from the single player experience, like an effective free roam mode, definitely takes away from what could have been an even greater experience. Overall, I give Far Cry 3 an 8 out of 10.